Hang in there, it is!
Smylie Kaufman for 61. Wow.
I'm Smylie Kaufman, and this is The Smylie Show.
Welcome back to another major championship edition of The Smylie Show. Here once again in T-Mobile Club Magenta, right off the 10th hole, Valhalla Golf Club. And Smylie, we had a day today. Boy, do we have a day today. And here's the place I want to start. The thing I want to read, we have a loaded leaderboard. I'm so fired up for this major championship Sunday we're going to have here at the PGA Championship. But I think we got to start on the 13th hole, which, as we've noted before on this podcast, has 7 5G connected cameras, courtesy of T-Mobile, shooting all the action. We were out there, and we had two truly magical moments. We had a double Boomtower. we got acknowledgement from both Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas, who hit him with the Boomtower out there on the 13th. We watched them play the hole. Really, really fun stuff out there today, falling around Jordan and JT.
Yeah, it was. It was right when we got out and watched Jordan. We picked him up on the par 5, 7th hole. Cam Smith decides, okay, I'm just going to chip in right as we walk up. I'm like, okay, I guess like this is a Saturday at a major championship. Cam Smith makes eagle, then Jordan makes an eagle right on top. Jordan birdies. Then I come in here and have another great episode of Spilling the Tea with Michael Collins and talk about a Q&A in which you can just ask a Q and then he just does the A the rest of the time. Michael Collins was electric.
Great. And it's Blair O'Neal tomorrow on Spilling the Tea,
Blair
right?
O'Neal tomorrow, same
Magenta,
time, right around 2 o'clock as well. But finished up in here with Michael Collins and then went straight out to watch Justin Thomas for the back 9. And he had just shot in 3 under. And so we watched 10, 11, 12, doesn't birdie 10, misses a 5-footer on 11, bogeys 12, misses a short one at 13, and 14 then, I think, was probably one of the best shots I've ever witnessed. I was saying to the guys here, all of Justin's friends who were watching, I said, what are the chances that this guy actually makes a 4 from here? I felt like a 4 was in play. I felt like a 5 was in play. And I said, if he makes a par, I'll pour my drink on my head. And guess what happened? He hits a flop shot.
He didn't make a par.
He hits a flop shot way up in the air. It trickles down in the hole. And I felt very, I headbutted one of his friends. It was really cool. But how often do you get a situation like that where you don't have your phones out and everybody's just jumping up and down and just living in the moment? It was just really, really cool. And it was just to kind of sum up JT's round, finishes up at 10 under par. The lead's currently at 15 under. I mean, Justin left about 4 or 5 strokes out on that back 9. He could have been within a shot or 2 of the lead heading into tomorrow, which would, I feel like he's got to do something really special tomorrow and really need some help as well. But I think we got to just talk about, Charlie, your impressions of walking up from every single fairway or off every tee box, every green, from green to tee, and the type of ovations that Justin was getting out there.
I think the thing, I said it to you after that chip in on 14, is like, I cannot imagine a cooler moment than playing in a major championship in your hometown, and you make a shot like that, and the crowd's going wild. And then as takes his ball out of the hole and he's walking on the front of the green, and they're just the JT.
It was awesome.
It's just electric. It was chills. It was one of the coolest things. That was I'm so glad we did that day, because not only did we get to see the golf course a little bit, we got to follow a group that had just true hometown vibes.
Yep.
Absolutely loving it. Now the other moment that we witnessed, we were over in the T-Mobile for Business Chalet, and we watched a real sort of sliding doors moment that sets up what we're going to do heading into the weekend on 15, where
kind of set the shot up nice.
You set it up real nice, because we had a Sahith Theegala chip in for birdie. We had a Xander double, and we had a Collin Morikawa birdie. Now Xander goes back and gets both of those shots back, and at the top of the leaderboard we have Xander at 15. We have Collin at 15. We have Sahith at 14, among others. I mean, Shane Lowry shot 62 today, was just unconscious with the putter. I mean, maybe we start with that final group first and just break down, the 2 guys who will remain in that final group, which will be twosomes tomorrow, Xander and Collin. and just kind of work from there. So just your impressions of how those two play today, and what do you think the vibes are going to be in that final pairing tomorrow? You have a multiple major winner, and you have a guy who's never won one.
You know, the vibes that I got from Xander and Collin today was that, hey, everybody else in the tournament, you're coming back in. Because when we were out there, it just felt like those two guys really didn't have their A stuff today. Watching some of the highlights and then also just looking at the leaderboard, they weren't trying to separate, which I felt like led to an opportunity for Shane Lowry, or if you look down the board a little bit, of Viktor Hovland, who's worked his way up with a nice 5 under round. Justin Rose shooting 7 under today. Robert McIntyre. So there's a group of putters that played really well today, like Shane Lowry, Robert McIntyre, Justin Rose. Those guys have all really had nice weeks on the greens. And Shane Lowry somehow gained 5.55 strokes on the greens today. I don't think I've ever seen that high of a number on a single day. So Shane obviously had it going and had a chance for history on 18 as well to shoot the lowest round of all time in a major championship.
I mean, this leaderboard, well, the first question I want to ask you is, what do you think the number is? Where do you think we end up tomorrow?
I feel like if you're a chaser, you've got to think that 18 under is the number. So I think the only guys that really have a chance, anybody past 10 under, I feel like is out of this tournament. So the 9 unders I would eliminate. So I think the 10 unders have a chance if they go out and shoot 8 under par. That's got to be the number, and go shoot 5 under the front, shoot 3 under on the back, or whatever you want to slice it up. 8 under par gets you at 18, and then you just need a little bit of help. But you have to imagine that whether it's Xander, Collin, Bryson, it's hard not to see that number get to 18. I feel like 19 wins it outright. 18's probably in a playoff, but maybe Xander or Collin or a Bryson get it to 20, and it's a couple shot victory. So I think it's a very predictable leaderboard for tomorrow, I feel like, because the golf course has given us kind of exactly how it plays. Like I don't think anything's going to surprise guys tomorrow. Justin Thomas described this place as everybody's playing from the same spot. So you're going to get a bunch of leaderboard. I think with the amount of players in this kind of bunched leaderboard, I think you're going to have one guy go out there or two guys go out there and play some really quality golf and make some putts. And I think that there's no surprise of what the number is that they are going to show up tomorrow, where some days you don't really know what the number is. Like you kind of have an idea because, you know, it's whether it's the conditions of like how firm it's going to play, where the pins are going to be. I feel like it is what it is. And these guys are going to show up tomorrow knowing exactly what they're going to have to do.
And, you know, of that group, because I kind of, obviously our one and done picks are both, you know, toast. Our apologies. We apologized for that yesterday. We remain apologetic for those picks. But if we were like re-picking right now of that board, who are you taking tomorrow?
Oh, man. I just think that I'm a little concerned between that final group of Xander and Collin that they're going to do exactly what they kind of did today, in which they just par themselves to death. I just got this weird feeling about Bryson DeChambeau.
Wow.
I just got this weird feeling. Anytime you get that momentum chipping in on 18, making eagle, and I'd be really surprised if Viktor Hovland or Shane Lowry were to get it done. I'm probably more confident in Sahith Theegala tomorrow if I'm picking between those three. I just think that, doesn't it feel like too soon for Viktor to like go switch to Joe Mayo and then win a major? But maybe that's all it was. It's like, oh, he's back, and this is exactly the form that we expected to see Viktor Hovland in this year, and maybe that's all it is. But I think you can kind of look at Xander Schauffele, Collin Morikawa, Bryson DeChambeau, Viktor Hovland, Shane Lowry, Sahith Theegala, and it just feels like it's going to come from that group of 6 players, unless, I mean, maybe Robert McIntyre, Justin Rose, Dean Durnmester, or
It's just hard.
see it. I just see it coming.
It's going to be a big effort.
I just think it's coming from one of those 6 dudes.
But you know, kind of to your point, like we're out there watching JT today shoot 67 that easily could have been 63.
Easily.
And so if he shoots 63 tomorrow, then there he is at 18 under.
I didn't think the pins were all that difficult on the back 9.
It'll be interesting to see what the placements are today.
They all seemed like
tomorrow,
pretty
rather.
accessible. That 12th hole wasn't very hard. Excuse me, the 12th hole was the hardest one that we saw, but everything else seemed pretty like easy to get to. I mean, guys are just hitting, 9s and 8 irons in, and with soft greens, they're just. I mean, it's dark at practice. There was hardly any wind, so I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. It's not exactly the leaderboard I expected. I mean, all we talked about coming into this was like, hey. In our preview episode, it's like we got to make sure we talk about Scotty, Rory, and Brooks Koepka. And Brooks had, I think he shot, was he 5 or 6 over today?
He was like 3 or 4 last I checked, and I actually did not circle back around to figure out where he ended up.
He shot 3 over, so he made like a birdie or 2 coming in because he was at 5 over. But I think we have to talk a little bit about Scotty Scheffler today, shooting his first over par round of the year, and talking with Amanda Balionis, I think what he kind of talked about a little bit was that he just didn't quite feel like himself this morning. I think yesterday he probably just didn't have time to really think about what happened. He had a whole night of sleep to replay in his mind of being in a cop car, being in a jail cell, talking to his family, and realizing that is not normal for Scotty Scheffler. And how he, probably sees himself day to day, and his character, and all the things that he likes to be judged by. That's not what Scotty Scheffler sees himself as. So I know it was a huge misunderstanding, but I mean, just your thoughts on like maybe Scotty and just do you think that was just all being worn out from all the stuff that finally just caught up to him?
I think Amanda put it pretty perfectly in the way she posed her question to Scotty in that post-round interview, which is just talking about. Anytime you experience a traumatic event, you have a lot of adrenaline associated with that helps carry you through that event. And then when you end up on the other side, there's like this huge just kind of release and, just a change in your physical state of being, your mental state of being. And so I thought that, it's something that as she said that really kind of made me think, oh yeah, like that makes a ton of sense. Like that he'd go out and then you stack on top of that, and it's no fault of Ted Scott's. He had a previously standing commitment to go to his child's graduation, and PGA Tour's chaplain, whose name's escaping me right now, was on his bag today. Remind me do you remember the chaplain's name that was his caddy today?
Yeah, Brad Pullen.
Yes, yeah. So he was on Scotty's bag day. So it's like you have this compounding sort of thing where you went through all that yesterday, and then you go out and you shoot 66 on pure adrenaline. And then you get back and you have to decompress. You have to think about how you're going to play on a weekend at a major championship. You probably have to talk to Steve Romines and go through the whole, I'm sure there was a bunch of information they needed from him pertaining to the case that he couldn't give them on the course, and he has to go back and do all that. And then you put your head on a pillow at night and you wake up and you're just drained of energy. So it when it started happening like that, it was like, oh, that makes a ton of sense that's how it shook out for him.
And I think if Scotty Scheffler goes out and shoots a 700 tomorrow, finishes top 10, or whatever he does, doesn't even matter at this point. He's out of the golf tournament. If he goes on in June and wins at the U.S. Open, and then July goes and wins the Open Championship, we're going to look back on this PGA Championship, shaking our heads, saying, what could have been? Because he was in a prime situation after his first round, played well yesterday, but obviously I think it kind of took a toll on him today. Frustrating that I feel like we didn't get the full crack of Scotty, in which playing the best golf that we've seen in a long time from any player, not really get a fair shake at potentially winning a Grand Slam. I know these are just outlandish things to say about winning a Grand Slam because it's so ridiculous to even talk about because it's never.
It shouldn't be that easy, and I think that for some of us, we're looking at the golf Scotty's playing. We're like, how can he not win the Grand Slam? And I think it's a great reminder that there are all sorts of things that go into playing, elite tier golf, right? And a lot of those things are out of your control. And this is just one of those things. Which, okay, this is on the far absurd end of out of your control, but it's a thing that was out of his control. And so I think it underscores to me how difficult it is to win that Grand Slam and the people that did it, even a career Grand Slam. It's just it's an amazing thing. So, but I agree with you. I think it is. We are going to look back on this and just wonder, and it will be more emphasized should he go out and win at Pinehurst and at Troon. But I think with that said, the part of this that I do find a little bit exciting is, and to kind of circle back on the predictions, because I'm going to nail you down and make you pick a name. For me, it's like, I think we're going to have a first-time winner. For me, I think it's going to be a Xander or Spieth or Victor. And I'm coming back to Victor, dude. I think the Joe Mayo thing is going to be the X factor. Like, it's like he more than anyone in this group here, with maybe like Shane Lowry as an exception, but he's been flying under the radar. We did a whole preview on this major championship of a guy who finished, I think it was either T2 or third last year. He kind of fell off towards the end at Oak Hill. Maybe it was T2 with Scotty, the one Brooks won. We didn't even mention him in this preview because that's how bad he's been playing this year. And for him to come out like this, it's like he just kind of flew under the radar, linked up with Joe Mayo. We all found out about that this week. And could go in and shoot. I mean, he's only 2 shots out the lead. So just another good round tomorrow, and he could be right there.
Definitely so. And I would say I'll predict Xander Schauffele to win. I hope Spieth wins.
Would love that.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Bryson DeChambeau wins. So that's kind of where I land on all this. And I'm going to continue to not talk about Collin Morikawa because when I don't talk about him, the better he plays. So I feel like for Collin, if you happen to be a Smylie Show fan and you listen to this podcast,
thanks for listening.
And Collin, if you are, make sure you like and subscribe. I feel like the less I say, the better you play. So I don't want to start talking about how well you're playing because I feel like that would be bad juju because you just continue to kind of prove us wrong for not talking about you. Because we really have not talked about Collin Morikawa all year besides just how he's kind of been able to find some form. And I think we just haven't bought stock yet. But I think tomorrow we might be forced to have to buy some stock, and we're going to be getting it at probably not the best price.
I don't think so. And I think it'll be really interesting to see the impact that playing this golf course has on that final pairing, because I think back even a few months to the final pairing of the Genesis, Xander and Patrick Cantlay, and how they just, and that's not an easy golf course, obviously, but they kind of, are not a golf course that people see as being super scoreable, let's say. And they got up to a dud start and they're kind of off the pace, and, someone else goes out and wins that golf tournament. Whereas here, I'm of two minds on this. It's like, if Xander does what he has done in the past when he's been in final pairings and shoots like an even par round, he's not going to win the tournament. But does a venue that is set up for a little more scoring, at least this week, help him, and that he should be able to score either way and keep himself around, unless we see a really, really deep number from someone who's a little further back? Yeah, and I think with Xander, looking at a stat with him heading into this week about his final round scoring average and trying to dissect, what is it? It's the putter. He's been losing strokes every single final round with the putter. And I do think that Xander is a tremendous putter, and it's only a matter of time before he catches a Sunday where he just can't miss. Is it going to be tomorrow? It's coming soon. And I would be willing to predict that on bent greens, in which he's been in so many final groups of late, he's going to eventually learn it and be able to get over this hurdle. And I think it'd be great for the game of golf. Xander's such a good player. So I do think Xander's going to win tomorrow. I think he's going to have a day in which he goes out and shoots a 2-3 under on the front 9, birdies the par 5s on the back 9, and steals another one on the 13th. T-Mobile on the 13th. Love that.
All the camera angles. Watch out for that.
Little 5G connected cameras there on 13th.
So I think Xander gets it done.
Love that. Quick thoughts on the way out. You mentioned Brooks 4 under, and then also Rory to 8 under, who feels like he's a little bit too far back. I mean, just, do you feel like the week got away from him a little bit? This is a guy that we really liked coming in.
Yeah, even par in round 2 kills you. You just got to keep on pace, and it's a 4 under par pace at the moment, and you probably need a little bit more than that. So, just lost it in that second round. So, to remind you all who are here on site of Valhalla, Smylie,
right here, T-Mobile Club Magenta tomorrow during Magenta Hour, 2 to 3 p.m., having a conversation with Blair O'Neill on Championship Sunday. That's going to be amazing. And then, of course, when this major wraps up, we will bring you a full recap episode of everything that happened this week. And boy, was there a lot of stuff that happened this week. So we look forward to that, and we appreciate you watching and listening, and we will talk to you very soon.
You know, I listen to this podcast. It's really cool. And
all of our lovely fans and subscribers, but make sure you like and subscribe.
It's cool to see what you guys are doing. I know golf fans appreciate it, but we do too, so please keep it up.
For all the good people of YouTube, like and subscribe.
You guys have some good takes, so I'm happy to come on and shoot the